Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to a special episode of the Dattitude live podcast. It's Wednesday. It's not Friday. We know you're probably confused, but hey, maybe so are we. We'll find out in just a minute. Along with Zach Ewing and Uncle Big Nick, this is our Masters preview special edition, and we're going to take a look at the weather, some of the big names, and who we think might come out of there. And we're going to take a look at maybe a couple long shots, and Uncle Big Nick's going to give us some DFS projections towards the end of the podcast. So we'll be taking your comments and questions all throughout the morning. How are we doing, fellas?
Oh, we're all right. I just finished up another Masters show, so I'm getting into it.
Well, you can't have enough Masters
No,
previews.
I've been into it since Sunday, so I mean.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's all you do.
The greatest weekend of the year.
You do what, like 648 lineups or something like that?
No, but 200 and something this week.
Jeez.
You like to exaggerate.
I was only half kidding, you know. All right, here are our topics for the show. Go ahead.
Oh, hold on. What's your player pool for 200 and something line? There's only 88 guys there. I mean, how many are you?
20. It's only going to be 24 to 30 players.
All right, well, 24 squared. You do the math. Anyway, these are.
We don't want Jim to do the math.
No,
that's why he told somebody else to do it.
Exactly, and I don't have the calculator up on my screen, so I'm not going to figure it out. These are our topics for the day. As we said, it's all golf today. If you have any comments or questions, and I see one, we'll get to it in just a minute. The top story is weather, and you know, Zach was telling me off the air that Scott Raveley was saying that they think they're going to make it through. Uncle Big Nick was talking to some people. They think they're going to make it through. Hey. We'll find out, but I don't see how they're going to. We're going to talk weather in just a little bit. And then, of course, the betting preview side of it, Scotty, Rory, and John Rahm. Those are the guys that are all plus 800 or worse, I guess is the way to say it. I saw Scotty as low as plus 500, which is obscene. I don't think that's bettable. We'll talk about that a little bit. Who else do we like? I mean, obviously, if you take one of the big three, you want to take somebody else to go with it. And how about Tiger? I know Uncle Big Nick hopes Tiger has a chance. We'll talk about him a little bit this morning, when we get to it. All right, let's start with, let's see what comments. We got M. Petrin says he's got Cam Smith, 35-1.
That's Petrini. That's a buddy of mine.
Oh, Petrini. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't read. Sorry.
That's a good price.
You know what? So do I. That's my number one pick, and we'll jump right into it. That is, I had a Masters preview out on bet.nola.com this morning. It came out at, I think, 7:45, and that is my number one pick this morning, and I'm interested to see what you think about Cam Smith. I know you like Jordan Spieth this week, Uncle Big Nick, but what do you think about Cam at 35-1?
I like Cam. It's just all the live guys, I don't know how you trust them. I know a lot of them are going to come in with chips on their shoulders with stuff to prove, and I don't mind playing Cam. He only won the one event he won at Live was in Australia, where he's from. So, like, he kind of cared about that tournament, and It seems like he hasn't cared. And Cam's like a carefree. He's on a boat drinking all the time. Like, is he really practicing? Is he really going to be up for this? I don't know.
One thing I do like about Cam, Uncle Big Nick, I was going back and looking. And he won the Players' Championship, and they had weather that was similar to what we're going to see this weekend. So that was one of the things that stuck out for me. And I actually like some of the Live guys. I know you're surprised by this because you know how I feel about Live. But I actually like some of the Live guys. I even like DJ a little bit.
I like the Live guys because of what you're going to get in leverage as DFS-wise. But as far as winning the tournament, I mean, what better slap in the face for a Live guy to put the green jacket on? So the ones like DJ, Brooks, Patrick Reed, Cam Smith, all the guys that have that chip on their shoulder and they have the game to compete, I don't mind betting them. But I think I'm going to bet them live. I'm going to see how they perform.
I think one of the things I also like is I took them in one and done this week because that's one less PGA player that I have to take later on as we go through.
Right. It's kind of smart to do that.
I mean, so that's one less player that I got to check off my player pool. And so I took the Live guy that I thought had the best chance to finish the highest. And I really think that of all the Live guys, I think he matches well with the Masters. His past history shows that, I think. And again, the way he's played in majors as of late, I just think he fits for this course.
Yeah, I agree. He really does.
Zach, I know you like Cam Smith a little bit too, and I know we're getting into one guy for a little bit here, but what do you like about him?
Yeah, I mean, I like him. I think I don't know yet if I'll bet him, simply because when you bet one of those guys at the top, and that's kind of how you have to frame your whole betting discussion, is if you're going to bet one of the guys at the top, how much more bankroll do you have to go down at all? I mean, unless you're just betting a couple of long shots with him. So I have to answer that question. I got to figure that out today, but I do like him. I think I'm going to use him in one and done also. That's my only concern with using him in one and done, is that because he's like a free space, because he's a live guy, is everybody in the whole pool going to think that way? And I've got some catching up to do. So do I want to use him in one and done, and then I'm not going to catch up if he wins? But I do think his game's suited to it. It's a great point about the players last year. Could be similar conditions. He plays well here. I think Andy Lack's podcast, he had a quote from him where he sort of sounds like almost dreary about playing for Liv. And I guess that could go one of two ways. Like,
I don't think he's the only one.
No, but I mean, like, does that mean these guys this week is a reprieve for them, where they're like, oh my God, I get to play for something this week, and they're going to play super well? Or does it mean I'm not used to playing for crap, so now I'm going to go out there and I don't have my competitive juices flowing, and I'm going to get buried?
Does the 4-round thing matter?
I
they
think
play 3 rounds on Liv.
Yeah.
Like, I know all these guys are in better shape than us, but still.
I don't know that matters, right? Not for a guy. Can't. And look, here are his last 5 Masters performances, and I'm gonna go from this 2022 back to 2018 in that order: 3rd, 10th, 2nd, 51st, and 5th. I mean, you're talking about 4 top 10 finishes and 3 top 5 finishes. Another reason why I liked him for one and done. Even if he doesn't win, you're still going to get a good number there. And I'm probably going to bet him. I've already bet him, like Mr. Petrini over here. I'm 35-1 at DraftKings. I also bet him. I'm going to bet him probably top 10 as well. So I got to get some prices. Look, you getting love over here, Uncle Big Nick. You're the GOAT.
Do we need to do what the Lakers did last night? Did y'all hear that? LeBron's talking to the media and they're making goat noises.
The goat chirps. Yeah, I got. I can't deal with that. All right, let's get into before we get into.
I was promised we wouldn't have to talk about LeBron.
Yeah, before we get into more players.
Sorry, my bad.
Here, I do want to talk about the weather, and you can't get around it. And our little graphic here shows you some of what they're going to be going into this weekend, and it goes. Not only does it go from dry, tomorrow looks like it's going to be okay, to wet, but it also goes from hot to cold. And I find this is interesting, as I do. Uncle Big Nick knows I love to talk about the weather. I think I talk about the weather on almost every podcast.
You should have been a weatherman.
I should have been.
You're an old man. That's what old men do.
No, I did it when I was in my 20s, too. I love to talk about the weather. I don't know what the deal is, but okay. So
can anybody be more wrong at their job more often than a weatherman and still have their job?
Probably us. We're close, right, Zach?
Sports betting.
No, if you're wrong 60% of the time, you're
we're not wrong 60% of the time.
That's what I mean.
Kidding. It's a complete. I'm completely facetious. All right, Friday, as bad as it looks, though, guys, I think that they'll be able to play Friday because even though it's 80%, it's not. I don't think it's going to be one of those all-day rains. It's going to be like in and out, so they'll be on and off the course. It's not going to be very fun for them. But Saturday looks like a complete washout at this point. You can tell me what you guys hear. I'll start with you, Zach, because you talked to Rab, and I'm interested to hear what they think. But that's a lot of rain.
Yeah, I mean, Rab and John Boyette, who's been to 38 Masters or something, and it's the former sports editor of the Augusta Chronicle, was on with me too. And we'll put that on this Bayou Bets YouTube channel later today. But they both had a lot to say. I mean, they both seem to think they're going to push through whenever and however they can, as long as there's not lightning, they'll play. And I mean, like, I look at that forecast, Jim, and it's not going to be that windy. 10 to 15 miles an hour. Yeah, and if the course is going to be soft because of the rain, and it's not going to be that windy, and they're going to keep playing, are we sure the conditions are going to be as difficult as everyone seems to think? I mean, maybe they're not.
The ball's not going to travel as far in the fairways, but you'll be able to throw darts at the pins.
Does this help a guy like, I don't know, Siwoo Kim doesn't drive it very far, and he played bad last week, but does it help a guy?
Who this helps? It's Rory. Rory is so good in wet, dreary conditions.
Well, I mean, that's what he grew up playing.
Right. So, I mean, the Europeans, maybe. I mean, Lowry, Fleetwood, Fitzpatrick, all these guys that are used to this. Justin Rhodes, Adam Scott, like to name a few.
Well,
That's going to deal with this weather.
Petrini, speaking of weather, he says a doctor's actual title is practicing physician. So they're wrong all the time.
This is true. They don't have to give warranties at all.
No, I just hope they're not wrong whenever they look at me. I don't know. I just don't see how they finish on Sunday. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's not just the rain that they could end up washing Saturday out, but Sunday they're going to be hit or miss all over the place. And I agree with you, Zach, that I don't know that the weather plays as huge a factor as it does. I mean, you're talking about the wind. I don't know if the wind plays as much of a factor, but if it rains, you can't play when it's storming. I know, Nick's talking about how as long as there's no lightning, they're going to play through, but they're not going to be playing in storming weather. Either one of you can take that.
I mean, no, not if it's like a torrential downpour, but are we sure that's what this is going to be? I mean, just because there's a 100% chance of rain doesn't mean that could mean it drizzles all day. Like we see that around here all the time. So, I don't know. I'm curious to see how it affects it. I think if you're talking about for DFS purposes, playing a wave edge, like I need AM, PM guys or PM. I don't know how you predict that because even if you see one in the hour by hour forecast that's going to come out today, and Nick, you can speak to this better than I can, but you don't know if the round gets delayed, that all gets thrown off. I mean, I don't see how you can say that it's going to be a definite advantage for anybody.
No, you could play a wave edge, but it's just like last week. Last week I tried to play a wave edge and they had fog in the morning that messed up everything.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, so you could try and predict a wave edge, but there's no guaranteed on wave edges. Yeah. So I mean, I right now I'm leaning towards my guys starting in the PM on Thursday because I think Friday AM is going to be the best conditions that they're going to see all week. Yeah. So even if my guys don't finish Thursday evening, if they got to come out and finish Friday morning, then we're good, because they're going to be in the best conditions. I mean, that's guys like Spieth, Finau, Fleetwood, guys like that are going off late Friday.
Yeah, that's what worried me a little bit about Cam because I think he goes off at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time on Thursday, which means he would probably play. I didn't look at what that correlates to on Friday, but I'm sure it's Friday afternoon. So Friday 1:30-ish.
Yeah, it's Friday it's 2 p.m. Eastern, so it's
so
1
I mean
p.m.
that is
chances are he's finishing his second round Saturday morning, though. I mean,
could be.
If we're being honest, there's going to be some kind of a delay. So I don't know. I will say this: in 2003, rain washed out the entire day Thursday. They did not play a single hole, and they were back on track by Sunday's tee off. So
they do it better than most tournaments.
We got to remember too, Jim. This is not 156 players like normal tournaments.
Yeah, that's true.
The players.
That's also true. Very true.
It's only what is it? 110.
Yeah. It's right. 100? I thought it was a little over 100. I think. So that does make a difference.
And top 50 make the cut. So I mean, it ain't.
No, it's only 88. It's only 88 guys.
Oh, it's 88.
Okay.
Hence it's supposed to be 91 or something, but they had some WDs and some past champions who declined the invitation. It's 88.
Hence
so you're
why
talking about
Scotty is minus 1,600 to make the cut.
Well, and I mean, honestly, that's something Tiger, I know we'll talk about Tiger. I think he's minus 150 to make a cut. If you like him, make the cut bet. You got to, all I have to be is in the top, really, honestly, with ties, probably 60% of the field. And you've got Fred Couples and Vijay Singh out there who are, I mean, thanks for showing up, guys. It's good to see you. But does anybody seriously think?
I mean,
they're
Sandy Lyle.
So in reality, you're really only talking about 80 players, and with ties, maybe it's 55, even 60 guys who make the cut. I mean, it's not going to be that difficult.
They got Sammy Lyle playing with 2 live guys. I don't know the names, but that's.
I'm sure that's messed up.
I didn't want to
decided to do that. That's messed up.
The Tiger thing kind of ties into the weather for me.
Yeah.
Because cold, rainy, delayed weather
I was gonna say,
is not good for Tiger at all. If he has to play more than 18 holes.
Yeah, but in the first 2 days, though, I think it does benefit him because it's not going to be cold the first 2 days. And I think that softer conditions and him knowing the course and knowing how to get around weather. I mean, he's played under every scenario you can possibly imagine. I agree. You can't bet him to win because Saturday and Sunday being cold and having to go in and out and stop and start are not going to help Tiger Woods.
Right,
But
because
I
he's
think
got to do so much to warm up that lead.
I think Thursday and Friday's weather actually helps him make the cut. So minus 150 to make the cut, I actually like that, and I wouldn't normally for Tiger, but I think that he makes the cut with this kind of weather and the soft.
I mean, he's only got to beat 38 players.
That's exactly
players.
And 5 of them are. Mike
5 of them
BJ
have no
Singh,
chance.
Fred Couples. I mean, So and a couple of amateurs who, maybe they play well, but maybe they're in over their head. I mean, you just only have to beat like 25 legitimate guys to make the cut.
All right, let's shift our gear from weather, and I want to talk about the odds. Obviously, the weather's on here, but these are the odds as of late yesterday afternoon, and they're from Caesars Sportsbook, which is the official odds partner of bet.nola.com. I always tell people to shop around, and they should. So when you see Cam Smith on this list and he's 2,200, that's because he's 2,200 at Caesars. You have to shop around, and you'll find some numbers at Caesars that are better. You'll find some numbers that are better at FanDuel. You'll find some numbers that are better at DraftKings. But look, if we're being honest here, I think just looking through, I think DraftKings has a lot of the best numbers. So look, but shop around. Whoever you like, get the best. And these are just the top tier guys, okay? So when we're talking about Scotty and Rory and Jon Rahm, and I'm going to start with you, Nick. What do you think? Zach sent me something yesterday that I actually kind of liked. What do you think the chances are that it's one of those 3 guys? Because I think it was either DraftKings. Was it FanDuel that had the thing you sent me yesterday?
I want to say you can actually find it more than one place, but it was plus 190 for one of the big 3 to win.
And minus 240 for the field.
240, yeah.
Where would you go with that bet, Nick?
The field.
You would take the field. You don't think it's going to be one of the 3? See, I don't like Jon Rahm.
I think the only one of the 3 that could win is Rory.
Okay. Why don't you give Scotty a chance to come back?
Well, there's a reason why I only think one person has repeated here. There's so many obligations when you win at Augusta. You got to do the dinner. You got to do all the Masters stuff. And I mean, would anybody be shocked if Scotty or Rahm won? No. I mean, I wouldn't, but I just don't think it's feasible for him to be back to back.
Yeah.
I love Rory with the soft conditions. Rahm has just been off lately.
He has been.
I don't like Rahm's attitude if weather is going to disrupt the tournament. Like, I just don't. If he gets aggravated, it's done.
Yeah.
Like, if he gets mad at the weather, mad at the delays, mad because he's not playing well, I don't like his mental aspect there.
Zach, he's been off and on, too. I mean, if you look at his last 3, 31st in the match play, he didn't make the cut, the players. 39th before that, and then he won the Genesis. So, but obviously, you have to like him to. I mean, he's probably. I don't know if he's a value top 10 bet, but I mean, before last year, he was 27th last year, but 5th, 7th, 9th, and 4th. I mean, he has been a lock for top 10 here. I don't know what his top 10 odds are. I'm imagining they're somewhere around plus 150, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I get what Nick's saying, because like you almost have to look for reasons not to bet these guys, right?
Right.
They're so
you have
so
to pull
good.
all kind of straws everywhere.
And so if Rahm hits some adversity, does he? But you know what? I'm thinking back to, was it La Quinta that he won earlier this year, where he had like a +3 or a +4 in the first 9 of Thursday, and he was losing his mind, and then all of a sudden he found it on Friday and hit. He was like 8
He had
under
some great
holes.
shot. Yeah, he had some great shot. I want to say it was on 12 or 13, and it changed his whole thing.
This field's a little better than that one.
Yeah, and the course is tougher too. I mean, I get that, but I'm just saying, like, from a mentality point, I don't know that he's unbettable. I think you are looking for reasons not to bet the guy. But Jim, like you said, 4 top 10s in the last 5 years. Like, he knows how to play here, and he's shown that he can play in weather. I don't know if he will this week, but yeah, I agree. If you're going to pick one of those 3 guys, Rory seems like the most likely. But Rory, I mean, the whole career Grand Slam thing, he seems to get in his own head a little bit at Augusta.
Absolutely.
He played well last year after he had no chance to win. Then he started playing.
Yeah,
well.
that's kind of like Rory's forte here. Like, once he's out of it, you want to play him in showdown because he's going to roast the course.
Andy likes Jon Rahm, and I get why you would like Jon Rahm, but of the big 3, and I get why everybody loves Rory. But again, I don't want to bet any of these guys. I bet a little bit on Rory, and I didn't bet Scotty, but I just, I kind of like that bet that we're talking about minus plus 190 on the big three. I really think Rory and Scotty are going to be battling down to the finish. Again,
what's better for the PGA than that to happen too?
Yeah, and look, and I know Nick, your one and done pick this week is Jordan Spieth, and I think that Spieth is a great. I love the way that he's played lately, because short game obviously for this course, I think short game might be the number one factor going in.
Yeah, you got to be creative.
No one has a better short game than Jordan Spieth.
Nobody's magic beans is ridiculous.
I mean,
I'm so pissed at Spieth over a couple weeks ago that I can't bet. I can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't hold grudges, Zach. You can't hold grudges.
But for those who don't know, I meant to put $20 on him to win the Valspar and actually put 200 in it. And then he had the tournament in his lap on the back.
He was leading down like 15 or 16.
So you mad at him because you made a mistake.
Exactly.
I mean, I still like him.
And he was in Vegas, and he's like, can you go hedge on this guy for me? A hedge on this guy, and it's like, no, never mind. I'm not going to hedge. And then
And then right when I was ready to hedge is when he hit the ball in the freaking water.
And right in the middle of the water.
I mean, it wasn't even. It was
like me driving.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that leads us to our next thing of these guys, and I want to just focus on these 6 guys. I'll ask you for a long shot later, but of the 6 guys that are underneath the name Jon Rahm, I want y'all to. We've talked about Cam Smith, and now we've talked about Spieth. Is there anyone else that we like? Nick, I'm going to start with you. It's hard, really hard, not to bet Cantlay here.
Not for me.
It's not for you.
No.
Why don't you like Cantlay here?
I don't like him in majors. I don't like him in this weather. You want to talk about a guy who plays great in weather, Justin Thomas.
Yeah.
Justin Thomas won the PGA Championship in horrible weather.
Justin Thomas
he seems off, I know. But somebody that's been flying under the radar that nobody's going to have anything on. Him and Finau are the 2 I like in this list.
I was going to say Finau. I like Finau.
Everybody seems to love Finau, and I just don't.
I haven't seen anybody pick Finau.
No, Andy was talking about Finau this week, and I think Rick likes him too. I don't know. There's something about him that until he proves that he's really legit that next class, like I just can't buy it yet. And I love Tony Finau.
He nearly broke his ankle in the par 3 contest and still made the cut.
I'm just saying, there's just something about him that I can't buy right.
5 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, you look at him at the Masters, 35th, 10th, 38th, 5th, and 10th. So, I mean, obviously he knows how to finish up there. I mean, I don't mind him for a top 10 bet. I just don't know to win this tournament if he has what it takes. But, what do you like about him as far as like this weather? Does this weather help him at all, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, he's really good with irons. I mean, he's going to be fine. It's all about the putter for him.
Yeah.
If the putter's working, he's good. And all the greens are going to be as fast as they normally are with all the weather. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, they got the sub-air system to dry them out, but
yeah, don't they have refrigerators under the ground? I'm just kidding. To some extent,
they have vacuums.
Yeah.
I was just talking to John and Rab. You can actually feel the vacuums under your feet when you're walking close to those greens, and there's like a hum. Place is a little bit dystopian if you think about it. They're like they're piping in bird sounds on TV, and they got the vacuum under the ground. I mean, we all love it, but
that's a word too big for Nick and I. By the way, Zach, we don't use words like dystopian on the Dattitude podcast.
Big Brother scary. How about that?
There you go. That's way better.
Yeah, thank you,
Zach. Who do you like on the second tier? And it doesn't have to be from this page, but. Second tier guys, who's your guy there?
I like Finau. Justin Thomas is interesting. Like Nick said, I wouldn't bet him to win, but I'm certainly thinking about playing him in DFS because nobody is going to play that guy because he's in bad form. And so sometimes that's what you have to do. Like you can get a Xander at a 25 or a Homa at 28. Cam Young
I love
at 35.
Homa.
I mean, all of those guys to me, like, there's value there if you do. And we talked about that prop bet, the plus 190. One thing I'm thinking about doing is what if I pick 3 or 4 guys in the 20s and 30s, and then I just hedge with the plus 190. And if any of those guys win, then okay, I broke even. You don't have to bet that much to do that. And so if one of them win, you just break even. And if one of your guys wins, then obviously you had a good week.
Nick, I like Homa as well. Why do you like him?
I mean, it just seems like the perfect course, the perfect weather, the perfect everything for him. He's in great form right now. I know he don't have a great history here.
Bad history here.
And everybody talks about, having a good history at the Masters. I value playing here more than I value having a good history here. I mean, if he's played here 6 times and has, I know he hasn't. I'm just throwing these numbers out
3.
there. 6 times and has 4 top 30s. Okay. I'd rather that than somebody that's played here once and has a top 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I want somebody that has history.
This is his 4th time, though, so I think this is the time that you see real improvement. I think after the 3rd time, it really kind of kicks in.
Yes.
So another reason why I like him. I don't necessarily like him to win, but I definitely like him top 20. Former winners, and you look at this list, I mean, it's mostly guys you would expect to be on this list, except for maybe Danny Willett in 2016. He won at 5 under. But, Scotty last year, Hideki kind of came out of nowhere. He had not fared well. Hideki's a guy who he hadn't fared well at this tournament, Nick, before he won in 2021. So that was kind of
that was a perfect storm for him. He came out after a delay and just roasted this course and won.
Yeah, he won at 10 under. Getting past Will Zalatoris. Another guy I like. I like Willie Z this week. Another top 10. I don't necessarily like him to win, but I think he's got a chance to be top 10. But before
he's been kind of off too after the injury and after having a stomach virus. He said he lost 7 pounds. I don't know where that guy can lose 7 pounds.
Why does he why does he putt well at the Masters, but he can't putt? I mean, he putts well in majors, but he can't putt in a regular
You ever
tournament.
Watch him putt? I mean, it's
the weirdest
horrible.
thing.
Like,
but he putts well at the Masters.
Yeah, I have no idea. What's like Hovland has good.
As to whether
Hovland has good around the greens at majors, but he sucks around the green everywhere else.
Maybe it's because they can't read greens, but here no one can read Augusta greens, so just putt it towards the hole and hope you get it right.
Regression to the mean. Hey, who's one guy under like say 30 to 1 you guys are definitely not playing?
You mean to win? I mean, there's a bunch of guys.
You're not playing. Like you're just fading them completely.
I'm not playing Jon Rahm at all. I don't think I agree with Nick what he said about and what y'all have said. I think this weather is going to mess with him. Not that he doesn't play well in good weather, but I think if you have a bunch of starts and stops, if he has a stop after he has a bad hole, he's going to sit there and think about it for an hour. I don't like Jon Rahm at all.
Or if he has a stop after he has 2 good holes, same thing.
Yeah, maybe so. I'm not betting him at all in any shape or form in this tournament. I know I'm opposed to against some of the big ones, but that's where I am. Nick?
I already mentioned that Cantlay and Xander are the 2 guys I'm not touching.
Yeah, I don't like Xander either. That's another one. I know.
Does anybody have a worse sponsor than Cantlay and DeWalt? Like, do you look at Patrick Cantlay and say, I want that guy to build me some
I don't even know what
sheds
DeWalt
with
is.
DeWalt tools? Look at this guy.
Definitely not.
I mean, Jesus.
I got to be honest. I don't know that I could have a drink with Cantlay. And what would he talk about? Does he talk?
Apparently he's fun. That's what I hear.
Really? I don't believe that at all.
He doesn't look like
he is got to be the
driest
guy on the course that I've ever seen.
I mean, dad jokes galore.
Yeah.
What do you not like about Xander? He's finished top 3 here twice.
I don't like him in weather.
Okay.
It's just a weather bias for me.
You know what I feel about Xander. I'm not a big Xander fan. Period. I know he's won some. He won the Olympics and he's won some. And he's always up there, but I just don't. I mean,
my strategy for guys under 30 to 1 is I'm taking 2 of them. I'm betting them before the tournament, and then I'm gonna monitor live odds.
Yeah.
If somebody's 4 shots back, and I look at the weather, and I think they're gonna get the course at a good position, and they have a good number, I'm gonna play them. Like a Justin Thomas, like a Max Homa, guys like that. Jordan Spieth.
That leads into where I want to finish the show because we've got about 5 minutes left. And Nick, go into some of your DFS strategies. You talk about having 200 lineups, 24 guys. Tell me about your strategies and going into DFS for people that are interested. And look, I mean, I don't play a whole lot of DFS, but I actually might put a few lineups together on DraftKings later just to have fun with it. But what's your philosophy going into it?
Well, my philosophy is going to be different from somebody like you that's just going to be doing 2 or 3 lineups. So like you kind of want to pick the guys you like. I play the game. I don't pick the guys I like. The guys I like are the guys I'm going to bet. So I kind of hedge myself to where, okay, these are the guys I like. If they're going to be too high owned, I'm playing in a contest of 315,000 people and $1 million up top. So I have to be different than 315,000 people. And I got to hit the right everything. So, I mean, I'm just going to look at ownership projections. I'm going to look at, okay, well, if Scotty's 20% and Rory's 25%, I'm going to play Scotty. Like, you know, things like that. And like I said, I like this PM thing to where the guys out early Friday morning, I'm going to play a lot of them guys like Spieth, like Fleetwood, somebody like Tom Kim. I don't know if Tom Kim's going to be highly owned because everybody's doing this, you know, the debutantes can't do good here. But Tom Kim has an experienced caddy on the bag that's going to tell him where to hit it. Somebody like Cam Young has Webb Simpson's caddy now. How many times has Webb Simpson played here?
Right.
So people like that, if they're lower owned, I'm going to throw them in.
How do you go percentage-wise, DFS for the whole tournament, and then each day? I know you do that day. So how much? What's your percentage-wise on what you go there?
What you mean percentage?
Like, you know, like do you do 50% of your, you know, budget? Is it 50% of your lineups? Are they entire tournament DFS, or are you doing more on each day?
I don't do the showdown every day. Like, I'm not going to do round 1 showdown.
Okay.
Because I want to see how the course plays. But then I'll take it like round 2. It all depends on weather. It all depends on if I feel I got an edge. Like if I feel like I think morning guys are going to be better than evening guys, I'll play the showdown.
Zach, what about you?
The great thing about I mean, I'm the same way. The great thing about showdown, the problem is the first 2 rounds, everybody plays all the AM guys because the course just plays easier in the AM. The edge to me is on the weekend when everyone falls in love with everybody who's playing well. And as we know, like, it doesn't work that way. Just because you played well one day does not mean you're going to play well the next day. And you can get huge ownership discounts on some guy who duffed it around on Friday and barely made the cut. And all of a sudden he's not only is he going off early on Saturday, but he plays a lot better and nobody else thought to pick him. So to me, when you do it that way, but I do kind of like the week long. I guess I'm traditional in that way where you try to get all 6 guys across the cut line, and which is so hard to do most weeks.
Week long is so much harder.
Easier in this tournament. Easier in this tournament.
It is easier.
Yeah.
Like you're going to get.
But it's easier for everybody.
Yeah, that's what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're just trying to have fun with it and know that you have a chance, I mean, this is a tournament to do it. Like we said, Zach said 88 guys. I mean, and you're not going to pick at least 8 of them. No one's going to touch. So 80 guys, and you only got to get 50 out of 55. So you got a pretty good chance to go 6 out of 6. And you have to go 6 out of 6 to have a chance to do anything in the Masters, for sure. Guys, It's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it. And the regular Dattitude will be back on Friday. I'm not sure who my guest is yet, but we're going to be talking a lot of Pelicans, I'm sure, as they have a big one tonight against the Memphis Grizzlies. I still don't get why they're 5-point favorites. That makes 0 sense to me. Maybe we'll see it in daily best bets today.
Memphis doesn't need to win. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
We can get off on that tangent.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. All right, and you guys, as always, you can go check out, I will add my monologue to this podcast, and you can find it wherever you find your podcast. Check out Dattitude. Search for it on all major podcast platforms, and we will see you on Friday. Thanks to my guest here. Enjoy your week. Enjoy the Masters. Best week in golf.